Before I take you through our program and practice, let me begin by giving you a little introduction. This is Tefaraki, New Zealand Early Childhood Education Curriculum Framework. What we do here is, based on this, we design our own curriculum with parents and children. How do we do this? What we do, we observe children every day. When we observe them, we record our observations. What are children's interests? What learning is happening here? So each child has their own folder where we have recorded their interest and their learning. So when it's time for us to plan our curriculum, we teachers meet and then we discuss what we have observed. At the same time, we take into consideration parents' interest, parents' concerns, and their ideas. How do we get to know this? Each day, when parents come to drop their children off in the morning and pick them up in the afternoon, one of us stand next to the door, greeting them and talking to them about their child or children. During this conversation, we get to know their child better, and at the same time, we get to know parents' ideas, their concerns, their interest, what they want their children to learn. We take all these ideas into consideration. We put them all together. And what we do, we unpack a learning outcome from our framework. I'll give you an example. I know it's a lot of information to take, but I think it's really important for me to talk about this before I take you through the program and practice. We notice that our children took great interest in kitchen area. So in our center, we have different play areas. I would show you some. So we have a music corner, we have dress up corner, we have reading corner, and we have kitchen, a small kitchen for children with sink, stove top, microwave. This is, we have more inside cupboards. Children can choose according to their interest. So what we do, what we noticed, we notice children's interest in this kitchen corner. They were cooking, they were sharing food, they were going on picnic, and at the same time, while talking to parents, we got to know this concern that where they were talking about how children always choose sweet over other healthy options. Sweet food like muffins, cakes, biscuits, or fruits, yogurt, cheese. So, when we had our meeting, we put these ideas, interest together, and then we went through it and we checked what we can focus on, what we are going to achieve, and then we start planning our curriculum. I know when we talk about curriculum framework, designing a curriculum, it may sound really structured. Actually, it's not. It's a play-based curriculum. We believe children learn through play and we implement our curriculum through play. I'm going to show you how. First thing I do in the morning, once I clean the tabletops, I set up provocation. I set up the tables. We set the tables intentionally. That means with a purpose. What do I want children to learn? What do I want children to explore? So, going on with our discussion, let's see. Our current curriculum is food, promoting healthy food. So, I am trying to teach them what are healthy food and what are unhealthy food. I want them to recognize the difference. To achieve that, I'm thinking of setting this table up with utensils, cutleries, and different choices of food. I'll show you how. I did this simple setup. As I told you, kitchen utensils, cutleries, and we have fruits. We got vegetables, and we have vegetable pieces, and then we have some other food like pizza, ice cream, chips, chocolate, sausage. I will add more resources as more children join. So now I'm going to tell you how we going to extend children's learning through play. One thing we have to remember is, although I have a learning outcome set in my mind, although I have done this with a purpose, with an intention, thinking what I want children to learn, I do not direct the play. It's children's choice. I want them to recognize healthy food. I want them to identify what are unhealthy food. I want them to differentiate healthy food from unhealthy food. But I do not direct play. I can only encourage them. So what we do, in each table, there will be a teacher interacting with children. We ask children open-ended questions. What are open-ended questions? Open-ended question cannot be answered with simple yes or no. It requires more information. For example, what are you cooking? So, when they come in the morning, I'm planning to suggest them, how about we make a breakfast today? So you can imagine, they will choose these options and then they will start making breakfast. What they generally do, they include you in play, and this often happens. They would serve me some food once they finish preparing them. So, for instance, let's see, they offered me pizza and some juice. So, what I can do here, I see an opportunity. I'm like, what did you make for me? Pizza. Okay, I love pizza. I know pizza is very yummy. But I prefer having something healthy in the morning. Would you mind preparing me something healthy? Our center is open from 7:30 to 5:30. When children arrive at 7:30, as I showed you before, they engage in free play. At 9:30, they will join math time here. During math time, all the children sit on the mat. Ideally, in a circle where you can see them all and interact with them all. At Emmanuel Preschool, we follow Christian philosophy, and as my employer says, Jesus is at the center of everything we do. So we start the math time with the prayer, and we sing Bible songs with children in the beginning. This is how we teach children about Jesus and his teaching. After that, children can choose either they want teacher to read a book for them or they want to sing more songs. Apart from that, as I told you, with our program, we introduce them new songs and new books. So what do we do when during that planning stage, we write a list of the resources that we would need, and then our employer provide those resources to us. For an example, if we are teaching children about healthy food, I would take a book like this, which is about growing sweet potatoes. If our children's interest is in sea animals, I'll go for books like this, which are all about sea animals. So it depends. If children want to choose, as I told you, we always follow their interest. Children lead, we go for it. Otherwise, we would encourage, we would suggest them books related to our curriculum, songs related to our curriculum. Through these, we teach children. Another very important thing we focus during math time is creating opportunities for children to develop their skills. There's this misconception in the society. Children can develop skills as they grow without any interference or support. But that's not how it works. Children need opportunities and repetitive practice to develop skills. For an example, let's take listening skills. You might have heard, no matter what I do, this child does not listen. That is because they haven't developed that listening skill yet. Here we give them plenty of opportunities to develop that skill and practice that skill. I will show you how we create opportunities for children to develop and practice their skills through a game. Okay, children, we are going to play a game. Can I get all of you to turn on your listening ears? Are they on? You sure? Okay. This game is about listening, so I want all of you to listen to me carefully. If I say, Simon says you to do an action, you do it. If I don't say Simon says, then you don't do it. If I say Simon says, you do it. If I don't say Simon says, you don't do it. Listen, okay? Simon says, clap your hands. Clap your hands. Clap, clap, clap. Clap your hands. Simon says, don't stop. You are not listening. Simon says, don't stop. So, keep clapping. Yes. Stop. Oh no. You guys are not listening. Come on, let's turn on the listening ears. Let's listen to what Simon says you to do. You don't do it otherwise. You only do what Simon says you to do. Shall we try one more time? Like that. Another important thing we focus on during that time is teaching children about rules. Misbehaving is when children do not follow rules. How can they follow rules if they are not clear about them? So it's very important that we teach them the rules that we expect them to follow. At the same time, we need to tell them why this rule is important. For example, we do not talk while eating. Why? Because you might choke. When you have food in your mouth and when you open your mouth to talk, they might get stuck and then you might choke, and we don't want you to choke. After nap time, our older children join transition time and the rest of the children go outside to play. Transition time prepares our older children for primary school. However, we give child to choose whether they want to join transition time. What do we do during transition time? During teachers' planning meetings, we pre-plan some of the activities to meet our learning outcomes. There's another thing called emerging curriculum. That is, although we have a pre-planned activities or pre-planned program, if we see that children are interested in something else or children are talking about something, for example, spring, I would not go ahead with my pre-planned activities. I would follow children's interest. At the same time, we refer to curriculum in primary school and we get idea from there what children should know by the time they start school. For example, counting, numbers, shapes, letters, sounds. So we focus on these areas. Let's get an example. Today my goal is children learning to recognize shapes. Okay. What I'm going to do to achieve this? We have this resource box with different kind of resources. So I would take some papers and some shapes. What else should I take? I would take something like this. Yeah, do. Okay. I start from what children already know. So, we will start a little discussion, conversation. So I would put some shapes on the table for them to see. Yes. And then I will ask them, do you know these shapes? Can you recognize any of them? What is this shape? What do you think? What is this shape? I'll give them time to think. children are familiar with shapes, so I'm sure one of them will recognize this. If not, for an example, if they say it's a circle, like, oh, is it? Then what is this? What do you think? Which one is the circle? I know circle is a perfect round, but oval, it's more like an egg. It's not a perfect round shape. Like this, I will carry on. This way, children use their memory, children learn from each other, and then we can go, once we recognize the shape, we can go to the next step. Okay, how about we try drawing them? Everybody take your finger. Let's try drawing some shapes. How about we start with circle? Let's start. It's a perfect round shape. Circle. Circle. We will try this until they get an idea about it. And then after that, we have a lot of resources, and we want children to develop their skills with tools such as chalks, crayons, color pencils, felt pens, marker pens. So we want children to learn the skills with the tools and the processes such as drawing, writing, cutting, pasting. So I will start with some chalks. So each one of them will have a blackboard, and then chalks. I'll give them each a chalk. And of course, clothes to clean it. Maybe I can choose chalk too. And then we will try to draw the shapes on the blackboard. Children can take their own time and try. I'll show you. Okay, children, let's try circle. 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 Does it look like a perfect round shape? I think so. Maybe I try a small one. Okay. Maybe I try. Okay, nicely. Remember how we hold the chalk? Let's take the bird. Make some space in between. Put your chalk in. Use the rest of your fingers to hold it tight. Hold it tight. And when you start drawing, you need to press it nicely, patiently. That's when you get the perfect shapes, like this. These are children's work. We display them on boards. Our preschoolers can recognize shapes and see how well they have drawn. They are like 3, 4, 5-year-olds. And once we learn the shapes, we use that to learn numbers. These are the highlights of the day. We do a lot more than this, but I'm not going to take you through everything we do today. So bye.